Hello friends, how's it going? It's your boy RobertIDK here, as you know. I have been asked to do this video so many times over the last few years, and I've always kind of felt a bit weird about doing it. I think because I don't really like making videos just talking about myself, but I got a request today for it, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And so today, people, I'm going to tell you about all of the tattoos on my body, all the little pieces of ink that I have permanently put on my human body. I know some of the parents watching this video are like, oh, Bradley, I love this YouTuber, but all the tattoos, really? It's a bad influence on you, Bradley. Mom, I'm sorry. It's okay. My mom doesn't like it either, okay? But I'm still a good person. It's okay, Mom. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you in order each tattoo that I got and what they mean to me. Some of them mean a lot to me. Some of them mean basically nothing to me. Bruh. Some of them just look cool in my opinion. For some of you parents out there, you hate all of them. Okay, so strap in, people. We are gonna do some story time. Starting with the very first tattoo that I got. So I first started getting tattoos in 2018 when I was, I think, 23, I would have been. I do believe that you do need to be old enough to be really confident in making your decisions. If I got tattoos when I was 18, I would probably hate them now. So please, if you do intend on getting tattoos, just make sure that you're sure about it. But I waited until I was 23, so I waited a little while. But when it was time to get one, I was like, okay, I kind of have to do this impulsively. Otherwise, I'll never start. So I got this rose right here. This is the very first tattoo that I got. Basically, I did a walk-in. This was in Toronto when I still lived in Toronto in 2018. Took a train into Toronto, and I was like, I need to get something. I've said this in some other videos, but what I feel is important about tattoos, sometimes if you want to get a bunch of tattoos, you need to kind of get the first one over with. And so you have to get one where basically most people can't see it and get something that you think is not something you'd regret. So for me, a rose, super standard, and like most clothes I wear don't show it. So this was a really easy first tattoo to get. Because yeah, rose, flower, it's easy. I feel like not many people regret flower tattoos unless they're like really, really bad. And so the very second tattoo I got was, in my opinion, my favorite one, the most iconic RobertIDK tattoo, in my opinion, the squid. This is from an incredible, incredible artist named Andrea from Italy. And so he's actually the guy who's doing basically my whole arm, but he's from Italy. What a lot of tattoo artists will do is they will do guest spots in different places around the world. So if you have a really amazing artist out of Italy, for example, not everyone can go to Italy to get a tattoo from this person. So what they will do is they'll do a little tour around North America, like Toronto, Los Angeles, etc. They will do guest spots. And so I was lucky enough to get a guest spot from Andrea, and we got a squid. What I love about this guy's work is that there's no one else who does tattoos like this guy. When I was actually at the studio getting this tattoo in Los Angeles, the artist saw this tattoo and knew exactly the person who did it. And I think that's kind of special. I don't think it's essential, but I think it's really special when you have an artist that is so unique that no one else does tattoos like them. And so anyways, this is the guy that I have entrusted to do this arm. And so that was my second tattoo. I remember when I came home and I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? I just got this giant blob of ink on my arm that's gonna be there forever. And it is nerve-wracking. It is an intimidating thing to all of a sudden have a big chunk of your arm covered in a tattoo. But at this point, I mean, I'm so used to it. It would be weird to not have it at this point. But I really love it, and I should probably talk about meanings here. So this is some Japanese text. This says Shinbo, and basically that translates to patience. This guy, he does a lot of Japanese text embedded into his art, and so I just wanted something that I thought was a bit of a cornerstone of important mental things. And so patience is just something that kind of came to me, and I was like, yeah, that's important. I'm a pretty impatient person. I should probably work on being patient. I think most good people are patient in some capacity. And then we did more stuff later, and I will get to that in a moment. My third tattoo was this one right here, and this is, I think, one of my most important tattoos. This tattoo is definitely one of my most meaningful tattoos. I'm not someone who believes that every tattoo needs to have some super deep meaning to it, but sometimes it's cool to have that. So this one, it is a girl drinking coffee, and it says, "Farewell, my friend." And some of you guys may be able to put this one together, honestly. But a few years ago, I had someone who I thought was my best friend in the entire world. I spent like every day of my life with them, and they were my best friend, and they were a big part of my videos at the time and what I was doing, and we had plans to get a house together, and it was gonna be super fun, and I was really excited for it. And then some things happened in their life, and it kind of caused them to just leave me, basically. I don't know how else to say it. It basically caused them to go down a different path and kind of drift away from me. Honestly, I don't really know how else to say it, because I had no intention of this person leaving my life. And so that was a really, really, really hard thing for me to deal with. And I went through, yeah, I'd say it was one of the most stressful things that I dealt with that year. And so I got this tattoo to kind of represent acceptance of what was happening. And so yeah, I kind of got this tattoo to kind of commemorate moving on, because I think what was very important for me was finding inner peace with the situation and not always being angry and not always being bitter about the situation. And so this is one of, if not my most meaningful tattoo. Next up, I got something with no meaning. I just thought it looked cool. I got this rose right here. This I got in Toronto from an unbelievably talented artist. I would say, if you had to ask me, I would say this is the most well done tattoo. And that doesn't mean it's my favorite tattoo. I think some of my other tattoos are cooler. But if you know about tattoos and you understand how the scarring works, basically, obviously, tattoos are needles going into your skin, and when you get a new tattoo, it is a wound. It is something that is damaging to your skin. And so it takes like a month to heal fully. And so a lot of the time, you can wind up with scar tissue. You will get scars from your tattoo. And a lot of the time, it coincides with like really thick lines or really bold tattoos, which is what I like for the most part. And right here, I can show you, I have some scarring. If you look right in the pit of my elbow right there, where it's all kind of white, there is scar tissue right there, which what you can gain from that is, wow, that must have really hurt. Yes, it did. But basically the point is, this guy is the best tattoo artist that I have ever experienced, just from the fact that he put this tattoo together so perfectly that none of it is raised from my skin. I can't feel it as I rub my finger over it, and there's no scarring whatsoever. So I have no idea what kind of wizard magic this guy is capable of, but he is like the most talented artist I have ever seen just for that reason. And so this is a really, really, really well done tattoo that I like a lot. And then the next tattoo I got when I first moved to Los Angeles. Conveniently enough, my guy from Italy happened to do a guest spot in Los Angeles the very same week that I moved to LA, and we did this. Now, this is a very interesting one because I did not have any intention of getting a lantern on my forearm like this. This was not one of my ideas. I gave him a bunch of ideas, and he like got overwhelmed and was like, there's too many ideas, let's do this. And I was like, oh, okay. So kind of strange. I don't recommend allowing a tattoo artist to do that to you, but in the end, I am happy with it and I'm used to it, and I think it fits aesthetically very well. But part of the reason was I didn't want to risk having a wrong translation on my arm. You know, when you put Japanese text or a foreign language on your arm, you do run a slight risk of what if something is done wrong. And so that's very scary because I don't want this to say ham sandwich. But it doesn't say ham sandwich. It says arigatai, which means gratitude, a welcoming gratitude. So in Japanese, there's many different kind of ways to express gratitude, to say thank you. You can say thank you in like 5 different ways, and some of them mean different things. One of them is like a thank you, like thank you for this service that you did for me. Some of them is like thank you for your presence. Some of them is like a welcoming thing. And this one I believe is like a welcoming gratitude. And so yeah, that was kind of the idea, just have a lantern and have the characters in there. I remember when I got this, I was so nervous. I Googled it like 10 different times just to be absolutely sure that it did mean what I thought it meant, and thankfully it does. But I'm never getting Japanese text on me ever again because it's just too stressful. Anyways, that was cool. The next tattoo I got was super edgy, and I am going to have to take off my sock a little bit to show you this one. This is just blackness. Basically, it's just black. That's all it is. It's just cool black stuff, basically. There are a group of tattoo artists in Los Angeles who do this really dark goth type crazy stuff, and I kind of just wanted to get something from them because it's a very unique, very cool style, and I just wanted to have it. So this obviously doesn't mean anything. I got him to do a little bird on top, but it's just kind of a cool thing that fits really well, and it makes me look a little bit more tough. I thought it was fun, and this part didn't really hurt. You'd think this would really hurt, but it didn't. So then next up, I also got this one in LA. This I also didn't really plan on what I was gonna get. This is a wolf with a crown. Pretty cool if you ask me. I went into this appointment not sure what I was going to get. I gave the tattoo artist a few ideas. What I will say, and I've said this, whenever I've done videos reacting to bad tattoos, one thing that I say, the most important thing about getting a tattoo, in my opinion, is having a good artist. Because you can take a great idea to a bad artist and you will get a bad tattoo. You can take any idea to a good artist and you will get a good tattoo. So for me, it's always about the artist themselves. I find an artist that I really like, and then I find tattoos that they have done that I really like. I send them those tattoos and I'm like, okay, I'd like something like this, basically. And so originally this was gonna be like a crow or a raven, and then the guy was just like, I kind of want to do a wolf, and I was like, okay, let's do that. Because I knew it would be a good tattoo, and one thing about tattoo artists is that they've tattooed hundreds of people, so they know what's going to look good in that particular spot. So these tattoos also, they aren't random because they are planned around the part of the body. So that's why this leads up to here perfectly, that's why this wraps around my foot perfectly. It's very important to get tattoos based on where you're getting them. So this was cool. For some reason, this was the most painful one. And honestly, one thing I thought about at the time, I was kind of going through a bad time mentally when I got this one. And I think as a result, I was just more tired and I endured more pain than usual. It's really weird, but just something I thought about. But anyways, this was a cool one. And now for something completely different. This is Jasper. He's hanging out. He's a very sweet orange boy. How's it going, Jasper? Hello. Do you like the camera? Do you like the camera? No, he hates the cameras. He's allergic. Just a little kitty. He's just a little kitty, right? Just a little kitty. Hello. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Anyways, just a little intermission. Don't ask why I have a cat here, okay? Don't ask. The next one I got was after quarantine started. So, as you guys know, these two are done by the guy from Italy, right? Now, obviously during quarantine, the guy from Italy was not doing a whole lot of traveling. So, there was no way for me to see him. So, there was no way for me to get my arm tattooed anymore. And even to this day, it's very hard to not be able to finish this, because a lot of people, they get their whole sleeve done in 1 year, and yay, I have this forever. But for me, like, this is a hard wait. I've been working on this for like 5 years almost. But I do think if it's going on your body forever, you need to be absolutely sure you're getting what you want. So patience is important. But I thought it would be a good idea to, in this little armpit area where less people are gonna see, I can get something from another artist. So I got this wolf right here. This is a photorealistic wolf. I gave the guy a photo of a wolf to tattoo on me, and he got that exact wolf on my body. And I don't know, sometimes it's really cool to mix styles. I don't think an entire arm has to be the exact same style. I think it can be cool to mix certain things up. So this is the one bit of realism that I have among the rest of it. The rest of my arm's gonna be all bold and colorful and whatnot, but I thought it would be kind of cool to just have a little black and white realistic wolf here. I do kind of like screaming animals on my body. Not just screaming animals, but like apex predator animals, kind of. So, you know, wolves. I mean, I guess mainly wolves, isn't it? But I don't know, that's something I've always thought was really cool. I've also considered getting like a bear on me and like a tiger. Wait a minute, I did. No, we'll get to that one. So I got this basically to fill the void while I waited to see my Italian man once again. After this, it took me like a year before I got any more tattoos, until I felt inspired. What's up next is probably my other most personal tattoo, and that is this tattoo right here. A lot of you guys probably have only caught quick glimpses of this one because I haven't really shown it off ever. This is my other most personal tattoo, and it was very personal to me at the time, but due to the way I've kind of grown and gotten over the situation that inspired it, the less it kind of means to me now. This is, oh man, guys, I want you to know this is a very personal one, so I am opening up pretty hard to you right now, so please be nice, okay? This is a cat skull, and this is a cat skull with a knife through it. Now, part of that is just that there's a lot of, it's kind of a classic tattoo style to have like a skull with a knife through it or a thing with a knife through it. It's just kind of classic tattoo style, but also this is representative. So, as a lot of you guys may know, I had a relationship that I was very, very deeply invested in, and then things went very horribly wrong, seemingly out of nowhere, and it was very, very, very hard for me. And if you were with the channel at this time last year, you know I went through a very, very rough time during that time. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about it, but basically the cat skull with the knife is symbolic of that relationship and the way it ended. And I don't want you guys to think I'm crazy here. Part of it was a cool tattoo idea, but also because this was such a drastic thing that affected my mental health for a while, I just felt compelled to get something to symbolize it. And so that is what this is. I do want you guys to know that the after effects of that relationship and the way I felt, it's not something that bothers me at this point anymore. I like very rarely actually think about it, but at the time it felt so strongly to me that that's what I was compelled to do. And I think that's something that's kind of cool about tattoos, is that they can symbolize a time in your life. That's one thing that a lot of people will say is like, oh, do you regret this tattoo or that tattoo? A lot of people will say, no, I don't regret this tattoo because I see it and I remember where I was at in my life when I got it. And so that's kind of what this one is to me. Now, what I do kind of want to do, I think I kind of want to expand on it. I want to add like flowers growing out of it or something, just so that it's not like as negative a tattoo as it originally was when I got it. But that's what that is. And then when I got this tattoo is when I also got this little rose on my hand, because I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to be so hardcore that I get my whole hand done. That's kind of intense, and I'm still not sure. Maybe one day I might do it. I don't know. And I know there's some parents watching this saying, please, Robert, don't do it. But it's possible. I don't know. I plan on only doing this arm because my parents hate my tattoos, and I'm like, okay, guys. Okay, mom and dad. I'll be nice, and I'll only do the one arm. Okay? That's my compromise. But I'm still deciding if I'm gonna do my hand. But basically, to dip my toes into that water, I was like, okay, I will get another rose, kind of like this one, because a rose is an easy tattoo that who regrets a rose? Unless it's horribly done or in a horrible place. It's not really a big deal. So I got this at the exact same time as I got this, just for fun. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely one of my favorites now. It was weird to me when I first got it, but I like it now. And then the last, most recent one is this guy right here. This tiger tattoo. This is a tattoo that I got from an incredible Korean artist named Gato. And this tattoo took 13 hours to do, and it was the longest tattoo getting experience of my entire life. I mean, we got up a couple times, we ordered food, we took like 10 different breaks, we danced around to music. It was like the craziest thing. I got there at noon and we left at 3 a.m. It was long. That's a long time to have a needle getting poked into you guys, let me tell you. But it is the most intricate and detailed and beautiful tattoo that I have. It's also by far the most expensive tattoo I got because A, it took 13 hours, and B, it's a foreign artist. And when you have a foreign artist doing a guest spot, almost always the tattoo is gonna be more expensive. And so, I'm not gonna tell you how much this was, but it's what I used to make in a month, basically. actually, that might give you a bit of an insight. You can take your guesses, but this tattoo cost me more than I used to make in an entire month. I don't anymore, and so that's the only reason why I would get a tattoo this expensive, but it's very cool. I protect it with my life because it is so detailed. If you have a detailed tattoo, people, you need to take so much care of it. Just in the sense that don't let it get exposed to the sun too much, because a tattoo like this, you can't trace this in the future. This can't be fixed up later. So, whenever I go outside in the sun, first of all, it's in a place where it doesn't really see the sun, but when I do go out in the sun, I make sure to put sunscreen on this one, because the more realistic and detailed your tattoos are, the more likely they are to fade in the sun. That's the more dangerous it is in that respect. So that's why a lot of my tattoos are very bold, because these tattoos will last me a very long time. Did I say this was my most recent tattoo? Actually, it wasn't.
And then the last most recent one.
You stupid.
Because I'm missing one here. This tattoo, it is not done. In case you guys were curious, this is not a finished tattoo. In case you were like, oh, it kind of just looks like a bunch of lines. Why did Robert just get a bunch of lines on him? This isn't done. This is by my Italian dude. He was in San Diego. I got this one earlier in this year when I went to San Diego to film the Mega 64 Dragon Ball Z Buu Saga in 5 minutes video in San Diego. My dude was in San Diego to do guest spots, and so I went down and I was like, let's get 2 birds with 1 stone, let's get the tattoo, and then let's go film with the boys. Best weekend ever. Only one problem. I decided that the time I was gonna go down to San Diego was the very first day of spring break. And so, the drive that was supposed to be 2.5 hours from LA was actually 6.5 hours. What? So, I was 3 hours late to my appointment with this dude who I only get to see like once every 2 years. It was one of the most stressful days of my life, because I was waiting so long and I knew that we weren't going to be able to actually finish the work. So as a result, I am now walking around with a half-finished tattoo, and I will get this done either when I go to Italy or when he comes back here. This is a dragon. This is the head, and it is like a Chinese-style dragon, so it kind of is like long and wraps around. It will look a lot cooler when we add color. This needs color and possibly a little bit more shading added to it. And once we do that, it will be sweet, and I'm very excited because my whole arm is supposed to be very, very colorful. And so this will be like blue and purple and green and all kinds of wacky stuff. And so hopefully by this time next year, you guys will see this dragon in full color. But as a result, that's where we are right now. One thing about this guy that is very, very unique is that he does all of his tattoos freehand, meaning he takes a marker and he draws it on and then tattoos it on. So a lot of tattoos, like basically all of my other tattoos, are done first with a stencil. So they draw it out and they edit it, whatever, and then they print it out perfectly, and then they put the stencil on your body and then they draw over that. This guy is a complete savage and he just draws it on you and then does it, which is crazy, but what that allows him to do is perfectly design the tattoos to fit that exact spot on your body. And so as a result, this tattoo kind of lines up with my muscles, the anatomy of the way my arm works, and you would never get that if you did it with a stencil. So I think this guy's work is incredible. I love him so much, and I can't wait to see him again. But right now, we have an unfinished dragon on my arm. And then after that, we are going to finish this arm because I want to completely finish this arm. And then after that, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll take a break for a while, I'm not sure. But you guys, that is all of my tattoos. I would like you to let me know, which tattoos do you like the most? What do you think about tattoos? Would you ever get some tattoos? I am not here to encourage you to get tattoos. I want you to make whatever decision you would make otherwise. I am not here to influence you in any way. But for me personally, tattoos have kind of helped me become myself a little bit more. I feel more like myself now that I have all of these visual representations of me as a person. Because now, there is no human on earth who looks exactly like me. And that's kind of cool. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit different, and I know a lot of you guys have wanted it for a long time. I would love to hear what you think. If you want to hear any more wacky stories or videos like this, let me know in the comments. And people, here are a couple videos that YouTube thinks you will like. I love you. I hope you have a great day. People, peace.